this is Sandra D, and I'm excited to share with you the glimmery goodness of Twinkling H2O watercolor paints. Twinkling H2Os are shimmery watercolor paints that produce amazing results. They can be used just like any other watercolor paints can be used. The main difference is that they are shiny. In this video, I'm going to show you a few ways that I like to use them. First, before using them, you need to add water to the cakes. They're just dry cakes. The easiest way I've found is just to take a sprayer like this mini mister and spray in. You're usually going to have to wait about 5 or 10 minutes before you start using them. So while you're waiting, it's a good idea to get the other supplies you need ready, like brushes, water to clean your brushes, whatever rubber stamps, and paper, cardstock you want to use. By the time you get everything else rounded up, the Twinkling H2Os should be ready to use. The first way I like to use them is to color in stamped images. So here's something I've already stamped and I've heat embossed it. And these colors are really pigmented, so sometimes they're too dark for what you're painting. So what you can do is bring some of it on your craft sheet and water it down further if you want it lighter by adding water. And then you can just start painting how you normally would. If you want it really pigmented and dark, you don't have to mix it with water first. You can just start painting right on whatever image you're painting. Sometimes it's easy to get it a little too watery and goopy, like I kind of did right there with the orange. So if you take a little bit of paper towel, you can kind of sop some of that up a bit. You can mix colors together on your craft sheet. Like I said before, you can lighten them and you can just keep painting. You can even take a lighter version of one of these colors or a different color altogether, like this really pale yellow. And add it to the background so you can get some shimmery paint on the background, and I would go ahead and do that all over the whole thing. So again, that's my first way of enjoying Twinkling H2Os. Now in this case, like I mentioned, I had heat embossed this butterfly image. You don't have to emboss it. I just kind of like the look of that. If you're not heat embossing, you should use some type of permanent ink, like the Ranger Archival ink or the Stays-On ink, but something that's permanent. If it's not permanent, when you start using the watercolor paints, that ink will run. In addition to using just regular paintbrushes like I did here, you can also use a water brush and just pick up your paint, and you could water it down by just squeezing and getting some more water in there and painting right onto your image. So either type of brush works just good, and it makes it really fun. Another thing I like to do with this shimmering, or the Twinkling H2O watercolor paints is just applying it to a background to get some shiny goodness on a background of something I might be using. The best thing to do this with is with a big flat brush. So here I'm just going to dip into some of this pretty paint. And I'm just going to apply it directly to this tag I cut out. And that's really pretty. There's another version of this that I like to do, and that's take something and stamp an image, and I don't know if you can see it very well or not, but I've heat embossed with clear embossing powder. So now when I paint on the background, it's going to resist where I've embossed. So let me show you that. So that's another fun thing that you can do with the twinkling H2Os. And it's not just tags and cards, but scrapbook pages, art journals, a lot of different things you can use this technique on. You can also paint paper doilies, lace, ribbon. In fact, here's a little piece of lace that I painted, and you can see it, hopefully, in the camera, you can see it twinkling. This was a white piece of ribbon that I painted with this purple color here, and again, it's really pretty. The third thing I like to do with the twinkling H2O watercolor paints is painting on a stamp and then stamping that image. When you do this, you want to make sure that the paint isn't too runny. You want it pretty thick, and you want to get it on there in really thin layers. So this happens to be a chandelier, and I think the chandelier should be purple. And you don't have to worry about hurrying, because what you're going to do when you get it all painted is you're going to spritz it with a little bit of water to moisten it back up. So it's okay to apply kind of drier, thicker, gooey paint to it in really thin layers. And I'm going to go back with another color and add just another color around some of the areas. Now I'm going to stamp it, but before I stamp it, I'm going to spritz it really lightly with a mini mister. Whoops. For some reason tonight I've been spraying myself in the face a lot with a mini mister. I'm not paying attention. So be careful and look where you're actually spraying. Okay, so now that I have this moistened up, I'm going to stamp it on this watercolor paper. And it leaves kind of interesting shimmery image. Now what's neat about this is you can spritz it again. Let's see if I aim better this time. And stamp again. And you'll see you're going to get different looking images each time you do it. And you can keep going for quite a while with spritzing and stamping. And you can even let this sit for days and come back and spritz it and reuse it again, which is kind of fun. And this cleans up really easily. All you have to do is spritz it with water and dry it with a paper towel, and it cleans up really nicely. like to show you a card that I made earlier using some of these techniques. So the doily was done with painting with a flat brush with the Twinkling H2Os. The lace and the ribbon were also done with a flat brush. This piece right here was heat embossed. There's a little flower pattern in the background, and then I painted it. And then this is like the butterfly I showed you earlier, and then I took the light yellow and painted along the background, and then just added a few pearls. I hope you've enjoyed my 3 favorite things to do with Twinkling H2Os. I always try to find multiple uses for the same product, and I think you'll find once you start working with the Twinkling H2Os, you can find lots of things you can do with them. Hopefully now you can discover the versatility of these shimmery paints. Thanks for watching.